Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to Daily Drop-In Morning Show with the Teach Better team every single day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Holy moly, it is January 7th. It is Friday, so Brad Hughes is here. We're going to summarize the week, get into some discussion. We have a good news article like always. We'll have some really strange holidays today as well. So there is a whole lot to celebrate. Please go start your morning by filling up your coffee, slowly getting into your routine this morning with us. We are thrilled that you're here and would love to see you in the comments. And we will be right back. Morning, everyone. Happy January 7th. Brad, how are you?
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, everybody. I'm doing really well. Happy January 7th to you. It feels like we haven't really connected this way since, probably a year ago now, Ray. What do you think?
Well, that's a big statement. You're making a New Year's joke or?
Yeah, it's 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Maybe I'm just going to put a pin in the New Year's jokes. But yeah, we haven't been on air live in the Daily Drop-In since 2021. It's a new year. It's a new Friday, a new opportunity to reconnect and get caught up. How are you, friend? How has your week been?
I was going to say, are you ready for 2022? Like, do you feel like the show, and especially on Fridays, because that's when we're together, is going to be like better than ever? Is that your prediction?
Better each Friday, 1% better each Friday. That's my prediction. I can't make any other predictions about 2022, Ray, but as long as you and I show up on Friday morning, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, it's going to be a heck of a ride. It's lots of fun for you and me, and hopefully we'll bring others along with the fun too.
I am going to say, and I know that a lot of our listeners use the show this way. I will admit, I use the show this way too. It's kind of nice to have this consistency in the morning. Like,
right.
Yes, it's early. Yes, I know that we slowly wake up throughout the show as we drink our coffee with our network. But the reality is, it's kind of nice to know that every single morning, this is going to be here. Kind of like my alarm is set consistently. It's kind of nice.
Ray, there are lots of national morning shows that people can tune into, and this fits right in with the big ones. You know, Good Morning America, the Today Show here in Canada. We've got Canada AM, and we just fit right in. The DDI 6 Central, 7 Eastern, each and every day, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And you can catch us later. You can catch us later with our time shifting option. It's absolutely free, no obligation. You can time shift, and you can catch us later on the Teach Better Talk podcast. What could be better, Ray?
I want you to know that I'm going to take that clip and just replay it every day so I can hear your voice promo the show. I love this.
That's fine. I do some freelance promotion, Ray. Just hit me up. You know where to find me on StreamYard here.
Perfect. I love it. No, it is funny though, because, people should choose in our network. I know they do because they're here this morning, but like to start your morning with your friends, some easy, slow conversation. We talk about education enough to kind of get your mind thinking. Then you tune into the other networks and get, some worldly news updates, probably hear the weather, but you got to start with family first. You got to start with this, good conversation first.
For sure. I think if we had a tagline, Ray, it would be like Daily Drop-In, mostly shenanigans. Mostly shenanigans, mostly here to brighten your morning and lift your spirits, and then you get on to the hard-hitting news later. But yeah, it's a great thing. I love seeing people pop into the comments, love seeing our Teach Better family members, love seeing our new guests getting to know us here on the Daily Drop-In. So yeah, it's a big lift for us.
Did you catch Brain Break this week?
Yes, I did. Yes, okay. I did.
So I just want to note, I felt like Daily Drop-In was this beautiful balance of shenanigans and, some really valuable conversation, people coming into the show every single morning, sharing their story. So powerful. I now will never label this show as shenanigans because they were so ridiculous on Brain Break this week that if that's the definition of shenanigans, we are serious hard-hitting news. That's all I'm saying.
By the end of the day at 5 p.m. Eastern, I mean, you're ready for some hard-hitting nonsense. It's called a brain break for a reason. We're trying to turn brains on. We're trying to activate people's brains and energies for the day. So I think a healthy dose of shenanigans on Daily Drop-In is a great thing, Ray. But I don't know if we ever slipped into 100% nonsense. boy, that would be amazing. Maybe we can devote one of our Friday drop-ins in 2022 just to absolute nonsense, the absolute nonsense edition. I'm here for all of it.
I think it sounds good. I was listening to Brain Break. If you guys are listening right now and you haven't watched it and you want to go back to, I don't know, hear absurdities for 45 minutes, I was listening to it, but I was multitasking. Many people do that for Daily Drop-In too. Like you have your phone set up, your computer set up in one space of your home, but then you might be doing other things. I, at the time, was bringing, okay, I don't want to be dramatic, Brad. I'm going to try and be really descriptive in this story. I was bringing these 95 Amazon boxes that I had in my home towards the door. And, there were about 95 of them and it was taking forever, but I was essentially like moving them closer to throwing them out, outside. And I was literally, between me and my phone was this castle of boxes that I was building. And then they started making fun of me and I'm hearing them make fun of me on Brain Break. And I couldn't get to my phone because I had this tower, this fort of boxes in front of me. It was so ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like the perfect storm of, you're hearing yourself being made fun of on the Brain Break and you can't get to your phone because of all the Amazon boxes. Oh my gosh.
And they were even talking. They were like, well, we have this ridiculous idea. We won't do it if Rae tells us not to. So Rae, we'll wait for you to comment. Tell us not to do it. And I couldn't get to my phone. So they moved forward. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a terrible thing. So shout out to
think
Jeff.
you might have been being baited a little bit there, Rae. I think that's part of the whole, the absolute nonsense theme is let's say, well, I mean, if Dave Schmidt was there, I mean, you can count on Dave poking the bear. Maybe you were the bear or, I'm not sure you were trying to bear the packages to your door, but got hung up there.
There you go. I just want to give a shout out to Jeff and Dave, Jeff Gargis and Dave Schmitto, former members of the Teach Better team who are no longer with us because they were fired on Wednesday.
Yeah, a moment of silence, if we could, for our departed members, Jeff and Dave.
Yeah, it's too bad. Bummer. So, Brad, you had, I'm sure, a very busy week with school. Update us on that because I know our family here hasn't fully been updated. Tell us a little about your week.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a great week, and I'm just so proud of our staff and all of our students and our families. I'm a principal at an elementary school in southwestern Ontario, Canada. All of our Ontario schools are closed as a response to Omicron and hospitalization rates, infection rates, and so right now all of our kids are at home, and most of them are participating in remote learning. We handed out close to 220 devices to our students at our school. So families and kids could access the remote learning, and our teachers are teaching from home. They've been directed to work from home until they're recalled. And so we've got a skeleton crew, but a very devoted skeleton crew of office staff members at the school trying to facilitate that. And was in Google Classrooms yesterday and just spreading good cheer and letting kids and teachers know how excited we are to reconnect with them. And that's the thing, Rae, is our focus is absolutely on reconnection, warmth, welcome, soothing those jangled nerves, and just establishing, a positive learning environment that kids can look forward to, similar to what we're talking about with Daily Drop-In, Rae, something to look forward to each and every day, and maintaining that connection until we can connect again back in person.
Brad, I really appreciate your mindset. I've been talking to a lot of educators this week, via phone calls or Zoom, who have been expressing to me this stress that they're feeling this week. A lot of educators right now are feeling kind of this in between. Either they've gone remote in their school district, and there are many, many hurdles that come with that. They're like feeling as though they might go remote, so they're concerned about this transition that's coming. Or shout out to all those educators out there that maybe they're never thinking of going remote, but there's just been bad weather. And so a lot of them are waking up every morning wondering if they have a snow day. So
yeah, we've got the spoons under the pillows and the ice cubes down the toilet, and pajamas on inside out, just in case you can will a snow day into existence, right?
It's totally true. But I just want to give a shout out. If you are an educator that's been carrying stress this week because you feel like a transition is coming or you're going through any transition, please, please, please just know, take time for yourself. Let us know if we can help. 100%. And, trying to name the elephant in the room. I think every educator I've talked to has been talking about this level of stress that's there. So we are here for you. We're sorry that this is going on. And truly, we have the ability to get through this. We do.
We sure do. And truly, anything that we can do to relieve stress for ourselves and for the people that we work with means that we have increased capacity to try to reduce that stress for the kids and the families we serve. Let's face it, if we're way up here with stress, anxiety, worry, if we're not sleeping, we're tossing and turning, we've got very little capacity to soothe and comfort the people in our care. So let's continue to look after ourselves. Let's continue to look after one another. Just let us know how we can help. And even if it's just a quick check-in to, a little bit of a pep talk or a little bit of some reassurance, reassuring ourselves that things are going to be okay is going to be crucial so that we have the capacity to soothe others.
So good. I also want to challenge everybody. Brad, I was thinking about you yesterday because I did this thing that I've never done before, and I made a homemade pizza. And I'm just saying, Brad, I think that our network needs a little bit of time. I want to challenge everybody within the next 3 days, right? It's Friday tonight, whether you do it tonight or Saturday or Sunday. I think everyone should try and make a homemade pizza if that's possible. It was quite a process between kneading the dough and getting some frustration out, sprinkling the cheese. It was kind of cool. I've never done that before.
I really enjoy seeing your pizza story on Facebook and Instagram, and it looked rustic. It looked delicious, and anytime you can find that flow, right? Did you find that as you were doing the dough and getting all the preparation for that period of time, right? Did you kind of find that you might have lost track of time a little bit?
I do want to say my favorite part was decorating the pizza with all the toppings. I'm a traditional pizza eater where I go, cheese pizza is my go-to. But if you're gonna make pizza at home, you gotta think of some creative toppings, that just because it makes it look fun. And I don't think I've ever seen a pizza with so many toppings before.
I've got a pro tip to really elevate your next pizza making experience. One of our favorite movies at home is Disney's Luca, which takes place in an Italian village by the seashore. And it's got an amazing soundtrack, not only of sort of the Disney sweeping soundtracks, but Italian pop music from the 50s and 60s. It just hits. And when you can put on an Italian soundtrack while you're making that delicious pizza, Ray, it can just fill your kitchen with sound, aroma, good feelings, good times. We talked previously about how, people can come together around food. And I just find that when we're cooking, thinking of the pizza, you kind of find that flow, like time kind of disappears. You've got your intention from step to step until it comes out of the oven, and it's just amazing. I plan to take you up on that challenge within the next 7 days, and I'll report back to you on Daily Drop-In.
I love it. I would love to hear about it. Make sure you take a photo because I tried to document, but also when you're having so much fun, your hands are getting messy, you forget to take photos. I think I forgot 2 or 3 steps when I was trying to document, but it was so fun. And it is funny, Brian, when you talk about music when you're cooking, sometimes this is just a good reminder, but for those of you to reflect on, it's so different when you have the television on in the background and you're cooking versus playing music that's really engaging when you're cooking. It just really does add a different feeling. So as all of you are continuing through your day today and hopefully enjoying a relaxing weekend, if you have any inspiration to do a little bit of cooking, put on some good music, we'd love to hear how that is. So make sure you take a photo, tag Brad and I, tag the team. We'd love to hear what you end up making. But I would love some pizza topping recommendations. If any of you are willing to share your favorite homemade pizza topping recommendations, because I just felt like the opportunities were endless at this point. It was very, very cool.
You and colleagues in the Chicagoland area must know pizza from the inside out. And so I'm Ray at home. Do you have I saw your pizza creation was a traditional
thin
crust. Do you have a go-to pizza spot in your part of the world? And are you a deep dish pizza fan too?
I love deep dish pizza, but truly when I order pizza, I always go cheese. Whether it's a deep dish pizza or a traditional pizza, I do have a lot of different varieties of pizza styles I like, but typically I go classic. But I feel like when you're making stuff at home, you could do the artichoke hearts, you could do the peppers, there's some meat you can put on there. I just feel like this is a new hobby. Once a month, I want to make homemade pizza. It was just such a creative experience, but you can't mess it up. It's not going to taste bad.
I see Brienne in our comments. Good morning, Brienne. You choose bacon and tomato for your toppings. And this is what we find when we're making homemade pizza is if you select 2 or 3 high quality toppings and put them on and maybe sprinkle some fresh shredded basil over it when it comes out of the oven and give it a topping of pecorino or, some good Asiago. just allow that to melt on the surface as it comes out, and it's incredible. We've also got barbecue chicken pizza from Lorianne, chicken
Yes.
barbecue sauce and purple onion. That is my next step, is to vary up the sauces with barbecue or Alfredo. Well, Rae, I think you and I could have a whole other daily drop-in devoted only to the culinary arts. What do you think?
I would love that, because you should know, and I know many of you know who watch the show, I have no cooking skills at all. So I would love some suggestions. But I will tell you, I think the sauce was what I realized I want to vary up next time, because between no sauce and using olive oil or Alfredo sauce or whatever, the sauce I used last night was so delicious. I went to like a local grocery store here, and they had homemade pizza sauce. So that's what I ended up using. It was delicious. But I just think varying it up with barbecue or anything else sounds awesome. And shout out, we have somebody in our Facebook group that's saying Lou Malnati's in Chicago is the way to go. I completely agree. Definitely the way to go if you want deep dish pizza in Chicago.
It's been a very stressful and very challenging time for educators in the Chicago district and in the Chicago area, Rae, as we've returned to school. So I just want to let all educators in that area know that educators are thinking of you and recognizing the stresses that you are experiencing right now.
Everyone should go make a pizza. You know, Brad, I feel like although it would be perfect if today was like National Make Your Own Pizza at Home Day, I do think that there's some holidays today we might want to celebrate. So we'll say that for Teach Better family members, this week or this weekend is definitely try and make pizza at home and take a photo and let Brad and Rae know what you think day. But should we get into some other holidays?
Yeah, we could. Before we get away from pizza, I think you and I, Rae, we're issuing that challenge, and we just like to say, when it comes to pizza, just dough it.
Just dough it. Hey friends, good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Drop-In Show. We are thrilled that you are here. We are so happy to kick off your Friday, January 7th today. Big day. For those of you participating in the comments telling us about your pizza preferences, whether you're ordering or making at home, we really appreciate those recommendations. And Brad, I really do like this challenge of seeing people make pizza at home, whether you're buying the dough or making it yourself. We just want to see all the toppings that you add and the whole experience if you're willing to tag us. So kind of a fun activity, a fun little challenge to do with your family this weekend. Brad, there are a lot of holidays today, and some of them I assume are going to really resonate with you. One of them is that it is World Bobblehead Day. Are you a bobblehead fan? Tell me about it.
You know it. Oh, love those bobbleheads. World Bobblehead Day. What bobbleheads are around your office or around your workspace, right?
I will admit, and I feel a little bit of shame about this. I don't think I own a bobblehead in my office. I'm looking around. I don't think I have a bobblehead, but I think you do behind you.
No bobbleheads behind me here, but I do have bobbleheads of my favorite teams: Toronto Blue Jays, Toronto Maple Leafs, and I do have some Walt Disney World bobbleheads, some Disney character bobbleheads at my work too, to keep me company. So yeah, just reach out and give them a little tap, and they'll jiggle their head for you, and it'll just give you a little bit of a spark.
Yeah, I think I would love to hear people in the comments, like, what bobblehead would you go hunting down? If we gave you like a free ticket for a free bobblehead somewhere, what type of bobblehead? If sports related, this picture has Shrek on it, like a Shrek bobblehead. Donkey's on here from Shrek. I don't know, maybe it should be like a movie or TV character. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It is also National Tempura Day. So we're talking about tempura shrimp. Do you like tempura shrimp?
100%. What I find is I can't get enough of it. If we go out to a sushi place or an Asian restaurant and you order tempura off the menu, you wait with anticipation, and they'll bring you like one tempura covered piece of broccoli. And so we've learned to order more than one because it comes one piece at a time. But, all respect to the folks that are preparing those delicious tempura dishes, because they come one at a time because they're made to order. So we just have to be patient with your tempura. Just be really patient with it.
But they are delicious, especially I love getting sushi that has the tempura shrimp in it or anything in between. It's true. It is one of those foods that if while it's difficult to get in abundance, when you get it in front of you, it's just like instantaneously gone. It's so true.
It is. It's one bite of crispy, melt in your mouth goodness.
Yes. It's also Orthodox Christmas Day. So for those of
Yes.
you celebrating, shout out to those of you that are celebrating that holiday. We hope that you have just an incredible, incredible experience. So some fun holidays today, Brad. What about some
Indeed.
good news?
Really good news, and this is some good news that our listeners and viewers may have seen pop up in their feeds and their sports feeds. And this is out of Vancouver, BC, where something remarkable occurred at a hockey game, and it resulted in a life-saving decision for a member of the Vancouver Canucks NHL coaching staff, and it resulted in some wonderful karma for the person that alerted one of the Vancouver coaches behind the bench to a mole on the back of his neck. So the story is that Vancouver Canucks assistant equipment manager Brian Hamilton was alerted by a fan by tapping on the glass behind the bench. And the message on the fan's phone read, "The mole on the back of your neck is possibly cancerous. Please go see a doctor." So remarkable. So, the story from Good News Network reminds us that fans will do all kinds of strange things at sporting events. But Nadia Popovici was following her medical training. She noticed that the dark spot on the back of the trainer's neck was discolored, raised, had irregular borders, all potential signs of the skin cancer melanoma. And as it turns out, it was confirmed to be a melanoma tumor and it was removed. Mr. Hamilton said at a press conference, "She saved my life." He said, "The doctor said if I had ignored that for 4 to 5 years, he wouldn't be here." And so he was intentional about trying to track down this fan that quite literally saved his life. And they were able to track them down. They had a reunion in the Vancouver Canucks and Seattle game. And the awesome news, Ray, is that Vancouver Canucks and Seattle Kraken combined to award Nadia a $10,000 scholarship to support her medical studies as a thank you for her quick thinking and for taking that leap to let someone know, a stranger behind an NHL bench know that he needed to get that looked at. So a remarkable story, and I'll make sure that a link to that story is in our Facebook comment feed.
Oh, such a cool story. It's so interesting how somebody can make such a large impact, just by kind of, for the sake of better term, like for watching your back, right? Like somebody
Literally,
watching your back, literally, and saying, "Hey, I see something that might be concerning. I'm worried about you." And just expressing that emotion, that peace of mind, whether it be a health issue or a physical health issue, a mental health issue, or anything in between, and how we can kind of have each other's back. I like that. That's so cool.
The incredible part too is if you dig a little deeper into the story on in the link there, you'll see that Nadia actually felt a little bit embarrassed after sharing the information. She kind of thought, maybe it was an overstep. Maybe I wasn't thinking, or maybe I was overreacting. This is a stranger in front of me that's trying to help run an NHL team, and here I am with my phone up to the glass. But she used an acronym called ABCDE, which allowed her to take a look at the mole, and the acronym led her to believe that this is something that was serious and need to look into. So yeah, I mean, the moral there is look out for each other. Exactly like you said, Ray, you have each other's back and take that risk. I mean, you never know. I mean, that risk, feeling sort of embarrassed or maybe it was an overstep could literally save a life. If nothing else, it could simply make someone's moment and make someone's day. And then I think about that ripple effect, Ray. You just never know where those positive ripples might lead if you take that risk and take that step.
So good. I see Andrea is in the comments this morning. Good morning, Andrea from the Teach Better team. It was her birthday yesterday.
It was. Happy belated. Incredible, yes, Andrea. Happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Andrea. Let us know. I saw we have in our internal team, we have a communication called Basecamp that our team uses. Brad, obviously, you know this because we get to chat there all the time.
Right.
And Andrea posted this beautiful dinner she had with her husband yesterday. Right. It looked like a great birthday. So Andrea, we'd love to hear how your birthday went. And thrilled to celebrate with you here. Kind of so fun. There's a lot of.
Right. I was thinking, especially if it involved homemade pizza, right?
Yes, exactly. Especially, I don't think she had homemade pizza last night, but if we did, Andrea, or if you have plans to do that this weekend, that's our challenge to everybody. So we'd love to hear how that went. It's funny, Brad. I was looking through our team birthdays, and obviously, anybody within our Teach Better Team network knows it really does extend worldwide. But, we have our internal team, and then we have all these different subgroups of our incredible family. We have the ambassadors, the speakers network, those who participate in our masterminds, our bloggers, our podcast. These are all little, families that exist within our Teach Better community. I was looking at birthdays. There is a lot of January birthdays coming up that I think are going to be exciting to celebrate.
I think any opportunity to celebrate, Rae, and just to share the love and share the connection among whatever networks you have, whether they're formal internal networks, whether they're informal networks. I mean, birthdays are special. I mean, they literally recognize the birth of an incredible individual, an incredible human being. Literally a unique person in the billions on earth. So, I think birthdays can be sometimes overlooked and underestimated, especially as you get up in age. It's another day and, just another birthday. Come on. I mean, birthdays are the people around you. It's their opportunity to let you know how much you're loved, appreciated, respected, and allow others to lift you up if it's your birthday. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're willing, if you're watching live with us right now, or even if you're watching or listening after the fact over on Teach Better Talk podcast, send us a little note on when your birthday is. If you don't want to include the year, you don't have to, or you can. Let me tell you, I think that age is just such a beautiful thing. So for those of you that share in that, feel free to include the year. But in the comments this morning, type it in real quick. We're going to transition to our Brainstorm bank, but we'd love to kind of have on file when your birthday is. And if you're an active member of our daily drop-in community, we'd love to make sure we celebrate with you. So throw your birthday in there. I know, Brad, your birthday was something so fun we were able to celebrate.
Sure
my birthday's not for another few months. My birthday's on March 6th, so we'll be able to hopefully celebrate that together. So we'd love to see in the comments your birthday as we transition here for Brainstorm Bank. Sound good?
See you soon.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. We are continuing on with our show, with our Brainstorm Bank. This is an intentional moment that we truly try to take every single show to just pause and ask you, hey, friends, do you need anything? There's always a theme for every single week that we'll get into, but in addition to the great educational conversations that we get to have every single day on Brainstorm Bank, we also do want you to know that you can influence the show by telling us what you'd like us to discuss. Is there something that we can brainstorm with you, help you problem solve? Brad and I absolutely do not promise that we will have the right answer or the perfect answer, but we really are here to be a brainstorm partner with you. Brad, I'm seeing a lot of holidays in here, a lot of birthdays in here. One specifically, shout out to Lori, whose birthday's coming up here in about a month, February 4th. That's
February 4th. That's right. And Rae, between our segments, I quick checked the calendar. March the 6th falls on a Sunday this year. And so I'm hoping that you and I can have sort of a pre-birthday celebration Friday, March the 4th. Will you circle that in your calendar for me?
Absolutely, we can. March 4th. We're celebrating together on the show. That'll be fun. No, birthdays are wonderful. So it'll be cool to celebrate. And Lori, it'll be fun to celebrate February 4th with you as well. Hopefully you pop into Daily Drop-In and we get to kind of wish you a happy birthday week. That'll be so fun.
February 4th is a Friday, so Lori can celebrate her birthday.
Oh my gosh, it looks like Andrea's husband, Kyle, who we love. Shout out to Kyle. He's a medical professional who has been fighting truly alongside this pandemic from the moment it started. Kyle's an incredible member of our Teach Better family. As Andrea's husband, we love him. And his birthday is also February 4th. Go figure.
Fantastic. Wow. Double birthdays. And we invite everyone to let us know when your birthdays are. And if you happen to be tuning in on a Friday in Daily Drop-In and it is your birthday, just pop it in the comments. We want to celebrate with you.
We totally want to celebrate. I did love, Brad. It's always so nice to see people's birthday messages, especially birthday messages to each other. And Kyle posted a really sweet little tribute to his beautiful wife, Andrea, on her birthday yesterday. It was just so fun when it comes up in your news feed. It was all this collage of their pictures together, and they're such a cute couple. So always
something I really appreciate about our Teach Better team and Teach Better family is there's an it's intentional. They're intentionally invited to let others know about the loved ones in your life, whether they're partners or pets, whether they're kids or nephews or cousins. And the better we know each other through our network and through the people that love us and love you, so much the better. So that's one thing I love about this space, right?
So fun. You know, Brad, our theme this week was all about finding your one word. And there was discussion all week really about the concept of identifying a one word, but really about setting the right mindset, the right intention for the new year. This, like you noted at the beginning of the show, was the first week of the new year. And so a lot of people were setting goals and getting started on that journey. What were your thoughts on this concept of one word? Do you have a one word you use?
Okay, so yes, and I've got thoughts. And so last year's word for me was restore. I was thinking about how I kept coming back again and again to a vision of restoring our schools and communities, health, happiness, security, both emotional safety, physical safety, just as they were before the pandemic. And so when I found myself in moments where I had to sort of get reoriented, what's my compass? My compass is, or compass was, restore, and it continues to be. I mean, as we continue with waves of waves of the pandemic and some continue like unexpected. Can we ever see some relief? Can we ever see our way out of this? I think that continues to be an important compass point for me. Another word that I'm exploring this year is better, and I've really internalized the teach better mindset. Better today, better tomorrow. I continue to promote and try to embody the idea of 1% better each day, and I share that out as a school leader. The people around me is, when we think about shifting from in-person learning to our remote learning. Let's do what we can with what we know today. Let's find out what our kids and families need today. Let's prioritize making a great experience for each other today, and then learn from that. And tomorrow, apply what we've learned to make it even a little bit better. And one of the things I love about the word better is that you can sort of interchange it with lots of different things, like, better life, better learning, better for others, better myself, make things better. And there's a root. The root of the word better in terms of etymology. There's a cognate in Sanskrit that has to do with the concept of being blessed or favored, or having having been gifted opportunities. And this is what I feel about my one word that may be emerging as 2022 in terms of better is I have gifts that I want to share, and in interacting with others, those gifts are shared back to me too, Rae. So I keep coming back to that. It really resonates with me. It's just making 2022 the year of better and better.
I love that. And it's so interesting. I think that better resonates with people differently at different moments in time and different years. And it's really wonderful to be able to hear anyone, but especially your evaluation of a word that clearly means so much to our internal team and in our community, and how that continues to be something that you may choose to drive you throughout the year. Brad, I feel like we've worked together forever, but you just joined the team in a formal way within the last few months. And I think it was August that we kind of made it official. And
that's right.
I think it's so cool that you not only were an active part of the Teach Better community, but now as somebody who truly influences the direction of this incredible team, you add so much value to this crew. And then to know that while that's all going on, it does actually mean something beyond that as well to you, this concept of better. That's really powerful. I'm excited for that.
I'm excited too. And one thing that keeps resonating with me, Rae, through Teach Better and this concept of better is it's not a competitive better, like me better than you. For me, it is the verb better, like to better, to improve oneself, improve the experiences of others. I mean, one of the things that I'm truly committed to, and I know that our Teach Better team and family is committed to, is just uplifting each individual with every interaction, leaving everyone a little bit better for having spent a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes with you. And so that's our continuing mission as individuals and as a Teach Better team, is to improve the quality of life for those that are in our network even a little bit, and to keep people looking forward to coming back for more engagement. So that's my take on better. No competition. It's simply continuous improvement for oneself and the people that are in our care.
I love that. People are really loving this in the comments, as well as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, this concept that better is a verb. And I think it's so wonderful to have you highlight that, Brad, because that's where this all came from. When our team internally transitioned to being known as the Teach Better team, we do see better as a verb. And I love that description of what that means to you. I think that's extremely powerful and extremely good reminder. Lori's in the comments with a question for us this morning for us to brainstorm. And I think it kind of relates to people not only finding their word, but truly living in the right mindset through as the year begins, but also as the year continues. She says, what's your favorite way to fill your cup as an educator? How do you combat burnout? And we were talking even earlier in this show about how this week has been stressful. And, this concept of burnout is something that teachers are truly tiptoeing around or experiencing as the year has begun and truly as the year ended last year. So let's brainstorm this. How do you fill your cup, Brad? And what does this, combating of burnout mean to you?
The number one way that I fill my cup, Ray and Lorianne, is I look out for opportunities to serve and connect. So if I find myself with perseverating thoughts, intrusive thoughts, I can kind of feel like a darkness, or like, just, I'm not sure I feel like I've got blinders on. So my headspace is, I got to do this and then next and then that. And then you can actually that's how your day can be, from the time that you start to the time to turn in for the night. What I find is, if I'm able to notice that that's my mindset, then I use my eyes and I use my senses to look out for opportunities to lighten the load for someone, or to serve, or I love to surprise. Like I love to do things that serve others in a way that maybe they aren't expecting. And what I find, Lorianne and Ray, is that for me, that is one way that it fills my cup, to know that I have supported someone else. I pay attention to their response. I'm not looking for praise. I'm not seeking affirmation, but it does give me a lift to know that others are lifted. And then it gives me a lift to know that maybe that would soothe them and allow them to provide their best to the people in their care. So that's my number one way, is to look outwards for opportunities to serve.
Brad, I think it's interesting as we reflect on different ways to deal with stress and combating burnout and how to refill your cup. It's going to be different for everybody. And so having everybody kind of reflect on that for them and finding that perfect balance. And it could be a different balance of multiple characteristics or multiple things, day to day, week to week, month to month, and giving ourselves permission to be a part of that exploration to find the right balance for us, I think is so important. I know we don't need to go down too much of a rabbit hole here, but 2019 for me was one of the most stressful years of my entire life. And I did not know how to combat stress. 2019 was an exceptionally stressful year. And then, not knowing for that period of time how to combat stress, I truly just lived in a world of stress. Moving then into 2020, which for many educators, for many people in the world, was the most stressful year of all time. I learned how to find some of that balance in combating burnout and combating the stress that I was enduring. And I will tell you, one of the things for me kind of goes back to what we were talking about with making pizza. I've realized that one of the biggest ways that I combat burnout and refill my cup is to intentionally force my body, force my mind to do something that allows me to not think about anything besides what I'm doing. So for many people, and I know I've talked about this, going on a hike with the dogs, right? Like turning the phone away. There's nothing else to focus on except for the dogs in front of you and walking along the path. Pizza was a perfect example. You can't stress about the work that needs to be done in your classroom or your to-do list when your hands are messy in dough, sprinkling cheese on a piece of pizza with the oven turned on, right? There's nothing else you're able to focus on except for what physically is going on in front of you. And if you can find those moments that truly kind of take you out of the stressful environment and put you in something that consumes you, I think that is a huge element of how to combat burnout in my own personal life. So I'm excited for everybody to find their own balance in that.
I'm really curious about digging in a little bit to Elijah's question about why burnout appears to be an expected normality in the world of education. Elijah says teachers don't need bigger plates; they need items removed from the plate. Absolutely, no question, Elijah. And that this is something that I really believe must be an ongoing conversation, both in our schools and in our homes. Is school leaders, how can we remove items from that plate to allow educators to focus on the things that make the biggest difference for kids? And again, coming back to the start of our conversation, Ray, we have to give ourselves permission. And as school leaders, we have to give our community express permission over and over again to prioritize their needs And we also have to create conditions where it's possible to do so. It's one thing to say, okay, staff, look after yourselves. I know it's busy, but then to keep piling on and piling on and piling on. We have to do both. We must do both. We must both give express permission to prioritize care for oneself, but we also have to make sure that our community is tweaked so that we have the ability to care for one another. And this is a passion of mine. I know a passion of many, many school leaders, Elijah, is to challenge that narrative of burnout being an expectation. And burnout, I mean, the workload that I think of educators, I think of healthcare providers, I think of many, many other public services where overwork, stress, and burnout it's cooked in to the profession as a badge of honor. So yeah, I got 2 hours of sleep last night and I'm back on the floor, or that kind of a thing, Rae. So this is the thing, is that we, as service providers, if we recognize that tendency may have been just baked right into the process of becoming an educator or becoming a healthcare provider or becoming some kind of a public service provider, that it's okay to take a pause and say, okay, is this really working for me? Is this allowing me to be the best carer, the best provider that I can? So I acknowledge that it's baked right into the process, Elijah. And I also acknowledge that we have a real commitment to take on as educators and as a school leader myself to make sure our communities can support safety, health, and well-being.
Well, and I like that, Brad. Really, we're talking about a long-term goal and a short-term goal, right?
Yeah.
Short-term, there's a lot going on. Teachers are experiencing a bunch. How can we get you through the short-term? Long-term, it seems to be a change that comes to education in general, so we don't find ourselves in this situation again. So it's super powerful. You know, it's interesting, Brad. This kind of relates to our Thursday conversation with the Happy Teacher Revolution.
Right.
There's a lot of discussion around the comparison between those who are in relationship intensive career paths. So I would really love to kind of recap this week a little bit, because I think this transition worked perfectly.
Perfect. Let's get on it.
All right. All right, as we continue to kind of wrap up our show a little bit, the recap is a section where we're not only able to go through some conversations we had this week, but also preview what's coming next week. And Brad, this really did transition well, discussing burnout, discussing long-term effects, discussing this relationship intensive field that we're in, to Thursday's conversation, which I know typically start with Monday to start recapping, but were you able to catch Thursday's conversation? I'm sorry.
I was there. Yep.
You know what? I
Wednesday.
apologize. This was Wednesday's conversation. Happy Teacher Revolution. I so apologize. But did you catch Wednesday?
Yeah, that was with Dana. Forgive me.
Dana, yes, Dana.
Yeah, I was there. I was hanging on every word, and you and Dana were just you were just talking directly into my brain and heart in terms of that recognition that what we were talking before the break. Recognition that it's one thing to tell educators or tell carers, look after yourselves. It's completely different to make structural changes to your organization to promote that community care. And this is something that I've been talking with my staff members about as we shifted back to the new year, as we shifted to remote learning, is our continued commitment to prioritize community care. Are we making it possible for us to care for each other so that no one is walking this path of self-care alone? We're intentional about making not only the intention, but also the opportunities to come together as carers, as relational providers to support each other. I continue to be really, really intrigued about the Teach Better Revolution, and I can absolutely see opportunities to replace a lot of our staff meeting time, Rae, where we're going over memos and announcements. I mean, folks, if it could be an email, don't meet about it. If it could be, how many of us have survived meetings that should have been an email? This is something we're baking into our school culture now, Rae. Is if it could be an email, don't meet about it. Instead, let's meet about what's it going to take to support one another to the next staff meeting emotionally. In terms of what we provide. So I'm very, very intrigued. I plan on following up with Happy Teacher Revolution on that very subject.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And, depending on where you follow them, they have so many resources. And I really love that we're able to highlight that a little bit
Yeah,
on Wednesday's conversation. They have almost 60,000 followers on Instagram of educators coming together to make sure that this revolution they call the Happy Teacher Revolution exists. And she really prefaced that teacher does not mean classroom teacher exclusive. This was administrators, this was anybody in the ecosystem.
that's
I
right.
really love the work that they're doing. And, it was a beautiful reminder on Wednesday to remind our network the Teach Better community is a phenomenal community that we hope you come to gain so many elements, but you should also be a part of other communities,
Right.
other positive education communities. This is one that we absolutely love to highlight as another place for all of you to hopefully find a home in as you continue your journey as becoming a well-rounded educator. So definitely go check that out on Wednesday. There were some really interesting conversations this week. Tuesday, actually, if we go back another day,
Yeah.
Jeff Gargis was live with Tracy Fuentes, and
Oh, that
Tracy,
was so good. Yeah.
oh, she is such a cool person, right? She's
Right.
actually one of my good friends. We work together on a
Yeah.
nonprofit that I'm a part of. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts for that conversation, Brad.
I was really intrigued and look forward to continuing conversations with Tracy. I mean, talking about heart-led practice, talking about leveraging the capacity of our multi-language learners. Tracy is absolutely a heart-led educator and is doing incredible work. I was so inspired by Jeff's conversation with her.
Yeah, it was a great one on Tuesday. And it was interesting because Tracy has an ESL focus. And I had no idea that we brought in a new face to the Teach Better community on Thursday.
Yeah.
Tonya Hill was with us on
Mhm.
Thursday. She also had this ESL experience in her journey in education. And so I think that Tonya Hill was the most decorated educator I've ever spoken to in my entire
Incredible.
life. Oh my gosh. I feel like all of us have reputations of being very passionate, very driven to do the work we do. Tonya Hill just exuded passion. And this girl, she is so accredited in the work that she's doing, and she has so many more goals. I thought that Thursday's conversation was awe-inspiring, and I got off that live with all of you and talked to Tonya separately. And I told her, I'm like, I need more of your influence in my life because she is so knowledgeable and passionate that those are the types of people that I like to surround myself with. She was so neat.
It would be wonderful to dig with Tanya into how she, through her, in addition to her accomplishments, her decorations, her recognition, how does she maintain that balance? How does she maintain that drive to aspire and yet look after herself? I mean, because the desire to improve can be overwhelming, especially if you're an incredibly driven individual like Tanya. Did you have a chance to dig into that with her at all, or what do
We
you think?
we did a little bit. For those of you who were able to pop in, there's a section, I want to say it was like Brainstorm Bank, where we focus on her word, because obviously this week we were focusing
Right,
on this concept of one word. Her focus, her word was balance, and she was actually struggling. And it was a really beautiful conversation. She was struggling with the concept of finding balance when she really does love all the work she does, but it is very stressful. And how does she find balance between her doctoral program, the work she does with national board certified educators? She's in the trenches in a district supporting
right.
educators, and she also has a full family at home. And so she was discussing trying to first define what balance meant for her, what it looked like, and then trying to enact that adaptation in her life. So really, really great conversation for that episode.
One key thing to try to learn and try to learn to avoid is getting down on yourself when you feel that you're out of balance. I mean, that's something that we all experience as human beings. And so if you find that that balance is shifting and is to your detriment, you don't have to be hard on yourself about that. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. Just acknowledge it. Acknowledge the feelings that are coming up for you. Acknowledge that you want to work towards better balance or better blend in all of your different roles, but for heaven's sake, don't come down hard on yourself about it. That's not going to be helpful.
I couldn't agree more. Brad, I think this conversation this week was really a mix of really, really inspiring conversations and also acknowledging some difficult challenges that we have in wanting to ensure that we keep the right mindset for as the year continues. I think next week is going to be some intense conversation as well. Next week's conversation, for those of you that are eager to start again with us on Monday morning, bright and early at 7 a.m. Eastern, our theme next week is literally called in my calendar, bold conversations to elevate voices. I think that is really going to allow us to dig into some of that conversation. Obviously, on Monday, January 10th, we'll be starting with the one and only Jeff Gargis with us on the show. But then as the week continues, we have some new faces joining our conversation and some familiar faces for those of you who are active in the Teach Better family. The first guest on Tuesday is Trinice, who we love from Mastermind. Oh my God, she was on 12 Hour Live also. And she is just like such an all-star to talk to. I can't believe I get to interview her on Tuesday.
She sure is. It's going to be a bold conversation. Trinice goes there. She goes there for everyone's benefit. And Trinice is not afraid to speak up and to challenge status quo, to challenge perspectives and misperspectives. That's going to be a great conversation.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. And then Wednesday, we have a new face to the Teach Better community. I have not met Seema before, but Seema is a member of an organization that truly exists in North America, US and Canada, to support conversations around equity. And this team is a connection that I made on Instagram. I was so excited that a member of their team could join the show, but they do professional development on this topic in school districts. So I'm so excited for Seema to join us and be a part of our Teach Better family alongside that interview. And then we have another new face to our community on Thursday with a educator that we connected with on Twitter. I know I'm not going to pronounce their name correctly, and I want to apologize. This is kind of the fun of getting to meet somebody, is learning how to best represent them, learn their name and everything. But Shakira, I think is maybe how you might pronounce this name. I think that it's going to be such a fun conversation to continue to have these bold conversations with new faces in our community. And then obviously, Brad, spoiler alert, we're together on Friday.
Oh, fantastic. Already looking forward to it. And yeah, it's those courageous conversations, those bold conversations that put you in situations where you're taking a risk. You're maybe shaking the tree. You're maybe opening up perspectives. You're trying to bring people's attention to who's not being represented, who's not part of the conversation. And those bold conversations can result in conflict. They can result in high emotions. We just have to be prepared to move forward, acknowledging that strong feelings could come up, and that's all part of the process. Nothing to be afraid of, nothing to run from. Strong feelings are just sometimes part of these important conversations, right?
Oh, it's going to be really fun. And I'm very appreciative that we get to recap the week every single week together, Brad, because I think it's just going to lead to some great conversation to be able to reflect at the end of the week on and continue to support our family here. I do want to give a shout out to a few different things happening in the Teach Better community as well. We are making a massive announcement on Monday morning that very much relates to our Teach Better community, especially if you like to catch daily drop-in, whether it be when we're live or after the fact. You will absolutely not want to miss this. So January 10th, bright and early, set your alarm, especially if you're somebody who likes to snooze on a Monday, getting ready for the week. This Monday is not the day to snooze. Make sure you come, not only join Daily Drop-In, but if you're on our email list, you will get a very, very important email Monday morning, which are really
Rae, I can think of probably a dozen reasons why people might want to show up for that announcement.
That could not be more true, Brad. I'm such a fan. We also have a webinar happening next week, which isn't necessarily something that's going to be streamed live. It's actually a private Zoom call, but it's a free webinar. So for those of you who are interested in exploring mastery learning, if you liked our Build a Grid series, we did that a few weeks ago. We have a webinar starting that's specifically about your first 5 steps getting into utilizing the grid method mastery framework. It's with Chad Ostrowski himself, the creator of the grid method, and obviously the co-founder and CEO of the Teach Better team. If you guys have not interacted with Chad, holy moly, this is the time to do it. It will be an hour and a half training. And I know there's already a fairly large group signed up. But what I really like about this is it's going to be personalized for the people that come there. So not only Chad giving you all his insight that he possibly can, but also taking questions within that group to make sure you're all supported. So you can register for that free webinar over at teachbetter.com/grid webinar. There will be an email reminder for those of you who are searching for that link, but I want you to know that this is the time to sign up. It's the 14th. So it is this time next week. I want to make sure that you guys don't miss that free opportunity. I don't think it's recorded. So you really do need to make sure that you're there to get that value. So again, free webinar, go register at teachbetter.com/grid webinar. That's also next week. So
fantastic, incredible week of announcements. And you were recapping with Jeff, week after week of big stuff coming up for Teach Better team. Incredible. Don't want to miss a second of January, February, March, and beyond. Incredible, right?
I am so stressed about it, Brad. Truly, I was looking at it again yesterday. The following week, we have some big announcements coming. And then I'm not trying to oversell this, but the last week of January, I think I might explode. Like we officially are kicking off an announcement at the end of January, the last week of January. And that announcement has one of the best Brad Hughes ripple effects. You always talk about ripple effects.
Love it.
This announcement at the end of January is going to have a ripple effect that causes us to have a massive announcement every 2 weeks. And I think that that's something that I haven't quite finished chewing on yet. That is a big deal. So I can't wait. It should be really fun.
Speaking of big deals, Rae Heward, you manage all of these announcements and all of these reveals with just incredible enthusiasm and your delight and your curiosity in what's coming up for our Teach Better family members and community is really infectious. So you're a wonderful person to be at the heart of all of these announcements.
You know, Brad, I think it makes our job kind of interesting that yes, we get to be a part of sharing these big announcements, but I haven't had an announcement yet that I also wasn't like internally giddy about. Like
Right?
It's kind of fun to have an element of our work that we get to do, share an announcement that like I'm just really, really excited about as well. In addition to hopefully sharing some excitement for all of our network, but I am giddy about these announcements that are coming. And to be honest, I don't like keeping secrets. So for me, it's like the best news that I don't have to pretend to keep a secret anymore. So I can't wait.
I know it's hard for you. I know that was listening to Monday's Daily Drop-In, you and Jeff were just practically bursting to get all the news out because let's face it, we want to share the great things that are happening out with the community, but one announcement at a time. We can't explode all of the awesomeness on the community at once, right? That would be just overwhelming, I think.
I know. And truly, if you went through all the announcements between now and May that we have planned, and there is too many to count, truly, I think we would like just explode our network. It would just implode completely. So I am glad they're spaced out, but I cannot tell our community. I've never been so excited to get from this point to May so that you have all the information I have. It's so exciting.
It sounds like 2022 is going to be the year of better for me and better for anybody connected with Teach Better, right?
I love it. I love it. You know, Brad, I think we need to wish our community an incredible Friday and head out for the day. But thank you for waking up bright and early and do this with me every single week. It's so fun. I love Fridays.
Wouldn't miss it. It is so fun, Rae, and wish everyone a fantastic weekend ahead. Take time to reconnect with the people, things, and places that inspire you, that fill your cup, and that'll give you the investment that you need to go back out there and be better and support others.
I love it. Brad and I cannot wait to see your pizza making photos. So make sure you tag us this weekend and throughout the week as you take on our challenge. Happy Friday, friends. Brad, it was good to see you. Bye, guys.
Good to see you.